Are you a determined and ambitious woman entrepreneur seeking to elevate your selling skills? Then I have a training for you. It's called How Any Woman Can Confidently Close Any Deal in a One-on-One Sales Call in Any Business or Industry. In this training, you'll be shown 3 techniques that you can immediately apply to your consultation calls and improve your close rate. This is a live training with me, and there's going to be an opportunity to ask questions. So come get yourself registered right now by going to yoursalesmaven.com/close. Easy, right? Okay, I'm going to see you there.
Do sales conversations make you feel awkward or pushy? It's time to ditch the outdated salesy strategies. Your guide, Nikki Rausch, will show you how to combine kindness with selling skills to meet your prospects where they are, and in the process, how to up-level your influence and income. Learn how to earn business easily and effortlessly. Here's Nikki.
Welcome, and thank you for listening to the Sales Maven Show. I'm your host, Nikki Rausch, your own personal sales maven, here to offer you tips, techniques, and strategies to master your sales conversation. Today's episode is a sales success story with the brilliant, the amazing Dr. Angelique Adams. Welcome to the show, friend.
Thank you very much, Nikki. I'm glad to be here.
I'm so happy to have you here. Will you share with everybody a little bit about you, who you are, your background, and who you work with as far as clients?
Absolutely. So I am CEO of Angelique Adams Media Solutions, which is a leadership training and coaching consultancy for PhD scientists and engineers. And I've been doing that for almost 3 years. My 3-year anniversary will be in April. And prior to that, I was an executive in research and development, innovation strategy. I'm myself an engineer, a PhD engineer, and I spent 25 years working in primarily the manufacturing space in global manufacturing companies. And about 4 years ago, I wrote a book for women in science and engineering. It was just a bucket list thing that I thought could be something good to do, could be useful. Some of my colleagues had encouraged me to do so, and it did better than I ever could have expected. And it was really during COVID. And so I know lots of people were just reevaluating lots of things about their lives when COVID hit. And that gave me a lot of time to reflect. And I said, as much as I have loved developing all these products and processes as the head of innovation, what I have really enjoyed most in my career is really helping to develop the scientists and engineers who are doing all of this great work. And so I used my book as kind of some early market feedback that maybe the approach that I had to developing people was something that people would be interested in. And so I used that as a pivot point to start my own business.
Which has been incredible. You are, I have to say, because you and I, not only are you a member of the Sales Maven Society, but you've also been a private coaching client now for a while. And I remember just reading about you and being like, oh my gosh, I'm a little intimidated by your list of accomplishments, all of the things that you've done. I have a friend that I always call her my smarty pants friend. I would call you my smarty pants client. You're so accomplished. You're so brilliant. You teach with, you do stuff with MIT, and you have like this amazing background in corporate at this very, very high level, chief of innovation. I just want to share an observation, and I don't know how you'll take this. If you don't like it, we'll cut it out. But one of the things that I so admire about you, so obviously your background is super impressive. You're incredible, all that you've accomplished. And one of the things I find very inspiring about you in particular is somebody at your level who's reached the level that you've reached, the education that you have, the experience that you bring. You are so open to learning. And it's so fun to work with you as a client because you're a great student. You're an awesome implementer, but you show up with such a sense of curiosity and I just want to say how much I respect that about you, that you still, even at the level you've achieved, you're still willing and open to learning.
Well, thank you so much for saying that, Nikki. And I have definitely the love of learning and kind of continuous improvement has really been something that I embraced early on. I actually think I got that from my parents who, came from very humble beginnings and had an early life together with, teenagers with a young child. And my father was in the military and, went back to school. And my mom actually went to college when I went to college. So they both went back to school kind of later in life. And so just observing them and their love of knowledge was something that I have embraced. And for sure, I really do love to learn. I will also say, though, that in particular, I like to learn from experts. And so that's why I showed up at your door with my credit card in hand and said, I want to work with you because I knew that you knew what you were talking about and you were an expert. And I really wanted to learn specifically from you in an area that I had been trying to learn on my own, had done a lot of trial and error, but was really feeling like I was very stuck. And so, yes, I'm open to learning in general, but when I guess maybe I can say game recognizes game, when I see somebody who really knows what they're doing and is as accomplished and at a high level, I kind of laser focus on them and say, okay, I'm ready to learn everything I can because I need to get better at this thing in order to achieve my goals.
Thank you. That is the highest form of compliment. Thank you for saying that. I feel really honored. Let's talk a little bit about the ways that you work with clients and the way that you're delivering your work out into the world. Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So I started with the book and doing speaking, and I still do speaking, either around my book, which is for women in STEM, or I have several other training modules that I've since then developed that really focus on leadership development, innovation development and implementation, entrepreneurship, those sorts of topics. So speaking is very much a core pillar of my business. It's also very much an entry point for people to get to know me. It's a relatively low price point, and so that's often the way that people kind of enter into my business is through speaking. Then I would say the other end is coaching and consulting, so private one-on-one coaching and consulting. I often work one-on-one with organizations that happen to have a lot of scientists and engineers who maybe are interested in entrepreneurship. So, for example, I work with a startup accelerator that's embedded in Oak Ridge National Lab. So that they bring with them, 12 entrepreneurs every year that are all very technical people who are interested in implementing their technology out into the world, or work with universities who also have graduate students or even faculty who are interested in either leadership development or in technology implementation. And so I do one-on-one coaching with those people. I also often work at the organizational level to provide some advisory into developing curriculum and programming for them. And then in the middle is a new program, actually something that you helped me develop, which is a group coaching program. So that actually started out as a monthly membership. So it's got a lot of video training, it's got group coaching calls and a community forum. And just within the last, I would say 9 months, I've decided to make it more of a self-contained, time-limited group coaching program. And that has really taken off once I really clarified exactly what you'll get in that time frame. It became much easier to communicate, particularly to organizations, because then they'd say, oh, okay, I can put 10 people in this and they'll be in it for 90 days and then they'll be done. And then I can put 10 more people in. And then, so speaking, one-on-one coaching, and then a group coaching program are the primary ways that people work with me.
I love this. I mean, I love all the ways of it. And I would love to be in the audience and watch you speak and hear you speak. Also get to see the shoes that you wear, because that's one of your signature things, right? Is the shoes. I don't know if you want to share about that.
Sure. Well, it started out as just a silly thing when my first book came out. It's got a really interesting color, different set of colors that I actually let my core audience that I was working with before I launched the book, I let them pick the cover. And so they picked this pink and blue and yellow cover that, frankly, I never would have chosen myself. That's what they picked. And so just for fun, as a way to celebrate, because that's one of the things that I really teach my clients is that you have to celebrate your accomplishments. I went out and got myself a custom pair of sneakers in those colors. And they were up on a shelf for like 6 months in my background, which everybody can see on Zoom. And someone was speaking with me to hire me to speak. And she was like, before we talk about what you're going to do, tell me about those shoes. And so I told her about them. And then just for fun, the first time I wore them to her event. And you would have thought, I don't know, because I don't know just other people's shoes, but the number of people that stopped me to comment on the shoes. And then the photographer for this event, she took like 20 pictures of my shoes, like just my feet. And so I was like, okay, like this is a thing. And so I started doing that. I have a couple more pairs for various reasons. And they're a great conversation starter, which also helps me because I'm a huge introvert, and I know from working with you that I need to be doing networking. And so, it's one of my tricks to kind of let people come to me and it works because I just have these very colorful, very interesting shoes. So
I love the idea of it, the shoes and the story behind it. Thank you for sharing it. And I think I just want to point out for anybody listening, like it's such a key thing to learn how to do something to attract people to you when you are an introvert, like you and I both are, right? Like when you can do something. My NLP teacher used to always say, like, you can be the person that rushes over and, connects with people. But if that's not your style, then you need to sit back and make yourself as attractive as possible, but not in the like, oh, beauty, like, zhuzh way, but just like something that attracts people to you so that they feel comfortable initiating that conversation. And you've nailed it.
Yes.
Like you so nailed it. I love that so much. Okay. And I also just want to say how much I love this transition for you, for your group program, because this is going really well. Going from like, okay, I'm going to do this membership, which was a little bit of a slog. That's kind of what I remember from conversations that we've talked about is it felt like it was hard to get people to understand what they were going to get. And as soon as you nailed this down and you made it like, okay, now it's a 90-day program. Now you have these big organizations that are like, okay, here's 10 of our people. Here's 10 more, right? Like it's such a great way for you to do these. Like, do you call them cohorts or is that just in my brain? Okay,
no,
that's what
I
I
do call
thought.
them
Okay.
cohorts. Yeah.
In my brain, I was like, I think this is her cohort, but okay. So yeah, I'm so excited. You have been a phenomenal implementer from a client standpoint. I'm so impressed when I get to see the documents that we're working through, you and I together, how you've organized things. But I'm really thrilled that you were willing to come on the podcast and share some of your successes in hopes of inspiring and maybe clarifying in the minds of somebody listening what they can do to achieve their own level of success. So if you'd be willing to share your success story, please dive in. Are you ready to uplevel your sales game? Well, here is a gift for you. It is the Mastering the Sales Conversation mini training. This training gives you my proven step-by-step approach to sales so that you can go from that overwhelmed and intimidated approach that you have to sales to feeling confident and leading a conversation so that you easily guide somebody to hiring you. You can get it right now by going to yoursalesmaven.com/mastering. This is my gift to you. Go grab it now.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to talk about the language that you help us to develop around the sales conversations. And so as you mentioned, I'm an implementer. I really like to sprint. And I enjoy having sort of standard processes to do things. I enjoy making those processes and then just sprinting. And I felt like, I knew how to make my content. I knew how to do my marketing. I knew that, I knew how to do my finances. There were all these things where I was just sprinting along happily. And then I'd come to some parts of the sales process, and I felt like I was just like walking into quicksand. It would just slow me down because I didn't understand what I should do. And then, the books I'd read, some of the other experts I'd see online, it just wasn't quite me. I couldn't figure out how how to say things in a way where I was communicating clearly what I was offering, but also helping people to feel like they were being cared for through the sales process. Like I didn't want people to feel shamed that they didn't understand things or that they might need my help.
Yes.
So there was just these things that just kept slowing me down. And when I would get stuck, I would, just write the same email 50 times and erase it. You know what I mean? I would just spend so much time working through this and still never feeling confident that I was doing the right thing. And so when I came to you and you had some very simple scripts for some very common situations, for example, people constantly wanting to have a coffee chat with me,
Yes.
or people, and I was like, okay, I don't want to be mean, but I don't want to, deal with tire kickers. How can I find my boundary and still be kind at the same time? And then you gave me, language to try. And then as soon as I tried that, and I was like, oh yeah, that's it. Then it became something that I could just do over and over and over again very quickly. And so it became a standard part of my process. I no longer spent, any time reworking those sorts of messages that I get on a daily basis. It's just copy paste and put it in and hit send. And not only is it faster for me, but also emotionally, it is no longer emotionally taxing because I'm not feeling like I'm second guessing myself and knowing that I'm being slow and knowing that if I don't get the sales process right, it's going to be hard on my business. And so I've got both speed and kind of this emotional lightness to me around the sales process that now I can do what we both said I love to do, which is implement. Like, I can just do it. Now I can just do it. Now I can just do it. And so, it's been multiple instances. So there's the coffee chats, then there's the referrals. It's like, okay, I know I should ask for referrals, but I'm not exactly sure how to do this. And what if my current clients think, that I'm not happy with, just sort of all of these back and forth things that I know a lot of us have second guessing ourselves. And then, I looked at the language that you recommended. I reworked it to fit my context. I sent it out. And, but the first referral, the very first one, Nikki, was, here's a $20,000 opportunity for you, Dr. Angelique. And I'm like, oh, that's nice.
It's really nice.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Who doesn't want a $20,000 referral? Yes, please. I love it.
Absolutely. So that's really my success story. I mean, it's not so much just one piece because you have so many great strategies and I really try to implement all of them. But I think overall, just knowing that I have this trusted source of somebody who can help me to communicate my boundaries, the sales, and with the empathy that I spend so much time doing when I'm actually coaching my clients. I care so much about that. I can embed that into my sales process. Now I can just implement. Now I can just go. And, and now I actually have more time to work with more clients because I'm not spending all this time reworking, all of these sales communications. So I think that has probably been the biggest benefit for me thus far. Is just allowing me to kind of get to this implementation level that I have in so many other aspects of my business that I really had struggled with for pretty much the whole time I was in business. I mean, I got lucky between now and then with some things and, working with folks who already knew me and could see what I could do, but really going beyond, I wasn't going to be able to go beyond that doing what I was doing before.
Thank you for sharing that. And I hope that that does inspire people to think about like having processes in place when you feel like I'm trudging through, did you say quicksand? Or what did you say? Quicksand. Yeah. When you feel like you're trudging through quicksand, there's probably a way to speed that up for you and still be kind, which I think is really crucial. That is very much how you show up in conversations. You're incredibly kind. And because you are so accomplished, a lot of people want your time, right? Like, can you mentor my my, son, can you help my daughter? My best friend needs some help with this, or like a colleague could really use you. Can you just have a, conversation? And that gets to be so overwhelming. And especially as you are growing your business, I think I've shared this story before, but I remember at one point, because I like to say yes to things. So if somebody asks me for something, I want to say yes. But this, like the getting access to my time got to a place where I remember one week counting and 15 people had asked to like pick my brain or ask me to just do something for them for free. And when you added up the amount of time that it would take me to say yes to all 15 of those people, like it was just, I couldn't do it. I was like, I think I have to quit. Like I can't do this. And so having to develop that language for myself. So I love to be able to share the things that I'm like, this is what I do. This is what I say. This is how you might say it too. And, because I'm a big believer in like, if I've spent time figuring it out, I'm going to share it with all of my clients because I don't want them to have to spend time figuring it out. Like, let's do it together. Like we're all in this together, but saving yourself time and mostly the angst of how do I say no? Or how do I, respect my own boundaries? And this idea of the referral piece. Because I remember one of our sessions, you showed up and you're like, I have so much business right now. All I want to talk about today is how to prioritize my time so that I can get the work done. And I was like, this is the best problem to have.
Yes.
So I love that. Thank you for sharing. I find you just to be such, again, an inspiration. You are an absolute delight as a human being, and you just shine your light so bright in the world. And I feel so incredibly blessed to know you, to get to work with you, to get to be a little part of your journey, to watch your success. You just truly are an inspiration. And I'm so grateful that you were willing to share on the podcast, that people got to get a little glimpse into Dr. Angelique and what she is and who she is in the world, because you're really something special.
Thank you so much. And I feel the same about you.
Thank you. All right. So as we wrap up, I always like to ask two questions. What would you say is and I know you've already shared your success story, but is there a benefit that you haven't talked about or something you'd be willing to share specifically about the Sales Maven Society? Because you've been such a great contributor and participator in there as well.
Oh, thank you. Yes. So I really love the group coaching calls that you have. They allow me, first of all, to have a scheduled time where I know I'm going to focus on my business. So it will allow me to just not let, working with clients and everything just completely derail me from really having some self-reflection time and some time to focus on my business. So I love that. And I try to make a point of coming up with my own questions. I was like, okay, if I'm going to get Nikki's time. So I always try to ask a question. I love hearing the other questions that the other participants have. And then the other thing that I really like about it is that is where I try to contribute to your community, is in the group coaching sessions. I spend a lot of time on the chat, just trying to encourage others or share, what I've tried. And I feel like, okay, as somebody who has my own sort of membership, has my own community, I'm like, okay, I want to be a good community member and contribute back. And so that is where I find that I feel like I can do that the best way possible for what I'm available to do in your group coaching calls.
Thank you for that. The community, because it is made up of people like you who do want to contribute and want to participate, it really makes it such a special thing. And I know that you have recently referred a friend who has joined the community, and I get to see her on the calls, and I'm just so really, it's such a high form of compliment when somebody would send a referral. I consider that to be like, wow, it's such a huge thing that somebody would refer. So thank you for that. Okay. Now for people listening, what is the best way for people to get in touch with you?
LinkedIn. I am very active on LinkedIn every day, posting content and chatting away. So that is my primary marketing channel. So Angelique Adams on LinkedIn.
Yes, you do such a great job on there. So connect with Angelique, even if it's just like on the peripheral, you get to kind of see what she's doing and what she's about. She's making a huge impact in the world and providing skill set for this much needed part of our genius, I think, in our community, our scientists, our PhDs, and helping them have that seat at the table so that they can really contribute at a very high level, because we need more smarty pants people making their suggestions and doing it in a way that people are open to receiving. So thank you for the work that you're doing in the world. I know you're making a huge impact.
Thank you.
All right. And for you, the listener, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening. I hope some part of what Angelique shared today inspires you to go out and make your own boundaries, to have your own set of scripts. And if you need some help with that, there's a way to do that. Come join the Sales Maven Society. We would love to have you. There's a special offer in the show notes for you. You're welcome to take advantage of it. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.
Thanks for listening to Sales Maven. Visit us online at yoursalesmaven.com/maven for more resources to boost your confidence and skills.
Are you ready to increase your confidence in your sales conversations? I have a gift for you that is going to show you exactly how to do that. It is my Closing the Sale ebook. It's all about leveling up your confidence, giving you language to use, how to seamlessly move somebody through the sales process. And you can get it right now by going to yoursalesmaven.com/maven. Go grab it.